Hi, I'm Dr. Catherine Ojikangas, and I'm making you a short introduction video to American English intonation. Now, intonation in American English is very important. It's how we express our emotions and tell ourselves and others what we really feel and think. It's very important to learn, and you can learn it. Now here's an example of intonation in use. This is an audio clip from one of my very favorite television shows, Modern Family. In this clip, there's a mother and a daughter, and listen to how their voices go up and down when they are expressing themselves.
Oh my God, Mom, the party is like around the block. I'll be gone for 2 hours.
Yeah, that is 2 hours you could spend studying.
I have been studying all weekend. No friends, no phone, just me alone with books. I feel like Alex.
Okay, did you hear that? Were you able to hear the pitch rises and falls and the loudness changes, as well as how long she held certain vowels?
Oh my God, Mom.
Oops, played again. Okay, so why should you care about intonation? I've already told you this, but let me say it again. That intonation holds meaning. It's what allows us to give our words emotional strength and tell others what we really feel. It's very important. And it's made up of a few things. The melody of the language, how the pitch goes up and down, and the stress, or how long you hold a vowel and how loud it is, how you might kind of punch a word to give it meaning. Now, voices that don't have any intonational changes in them are sometimes called monotone, on one tone. And one of the best examples that's also kind of funny is from an old movie, but it's kind of it's very famous. It's called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and the teacher in this movie is really boring. Why? Because his voice is all on one level, pretty much. So listen to this and you can hear how unexciting he sounds when he's describing a lesson.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, the Great Depression, passed the, the tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before?
You can see how boring it would be to have to listen to this teacher, and all the students in the class fell asleep pretty much. So let's talk about the components of intonation now. Pitch. Pitch is how high or low we make our voices. So if I say hello, you can hear how I'm going from low to high. And if I say hi, I'm going from high to low. So that's pitch. Stress is how we apply loudness to a syllable, how loud something is, and also how long the vowel is. So stress makes a syllable or word stand out by how loud one speaks, how high or low the pitch is, and how long the vowels are. Now there's a really easy way to remember the components of American English intonation. Longer, louder, higher. So why don't you say that with me now? Longer, louder, higher. You need to memorize that. Longer vowel. That means in a part of a word, if I'm going to say my name, Kathy, as the vowel, I make it longer if I'm going to stress it. I make that syllable louder, a louder volume, and I also make that syllable have a higher pitch. So now let's look at the intonation symbols that we'll use, and you'll see in your workbooks. The intonation symbols are 4, And if a part of a word or a syllable has primary stress, is the stressed syllable of a word, we put a line over it. If there's a very long word, there might be another syllable that's kind of stressed. We call it secondary stress. It has a shorter line. And there might be a syllable that has a glide. That means we're going from high to low, just like a waterfall. Ah, and all single syllable words are said with a glide because there is always a stressed syllable in every word in English. Now, if there are more than one syllable in a word, some of those syllables are going to be unstressed, and those are signified with a little dot. So these are the intonation symbols that we'll put to work in the practice, and there's more explanation in your practice materials about how to use them. Again, we use these intonation symbols over certain syllables in a word because every American English word has its own stress pattern. There is always a stressed syllable. Okay, great. So I hope you're going to have a lot of fun with your work and learning these things.